We are currently in the sweet thick of maple sugaring season, which usually runs for 4 to 6 weeks between late February and early April. But all of that is entirely dependent on the weather.
Vermont has a climate where sugar maples thrive and seasonal changes are abundant. As our long winter comes to an end, there is a pattern of weather of cool nights and warm days, which is the perfect conditions for the sap to pump through the trees and out through the tap. Come closer, you can hear it.
The sap is flowing through the sap lines, and as you can see from the steam and smoke behind me, there is a lot of activity in the sugar house.
That smells so good. Come on, let's go finish our sap to syrup adventure at Shelburne Farms and see where all the sap goes after it's collected.
Maple syrup is created from maple sap. Simple, there's nothing else added. But the maple sap we collect is mostly water, and the syrup we want to make is mostly sugar. So we have to remove some of the water from the sap, which we do in the sugar house in 2 different ways. The first step is with this machine called the RO, and RO stands for reverse osmosis. So this is a machine that pushes our sap through a membrane to help remove some of the water from our sap so that we can make our syrup more efficiently once it enters the evaporator pan. On average, you have to boil 40 gallons of maple sap to get 1 gallon of maple syrup. But after the RO machine removes a bit of water from our sap, we will only have to boil 11 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. Can you see how this technology is very helpful to the sugar maker?
Next up, we're gonna go check out the evaporator. Come with me. So our evaporator is up and running, so it's really hot right now, and all that heat is coming from under here. This is the firebox or the arch. And all the way over on the back end is where the sap comes in. So the sap comes in from this tube into this float, and if you get in here a little bit closer, you can actually see the sap coming out. And then it moves into this back pan, which the arch is heating up, so it's boiling off a lot of the water from the sap. And a lot of the water is evaporating out through the steam pipes. And as the sap boils, the sugar stays and gets a little bit sweeter, and then it travels through this float pan into our front pan, where it then finishes up into that liquid gold.
Has it popped over yet? So it's kind of just like we're boiling our sap on a really big stove. And if I had a maple tree in my own backyard, I could collect the sap and do just that. I could boil it little by little on a home stove.
Yes, Kat, sugaring is an incredibly simple process, but the tools and the technology that we've seen today allow sugar makers to make more syrup for all of our pancakes.
So, is it syrup yet?
I don't know, Kat. Let's check with one of our Shelburne Farms sugar makers.
Hi, my name is Lynn. I'm a sugar maker here at Shelburne Farms, and there are a few different tests that we can do to see if sap has officially turned into the delicious maple syrup that we all love on our pancakes. The first test is purely by temperature. So you can see this is our evaporator, and we have a thermometer right here, a digital thermometer, that tells you the temperature of the syrup or almost syrup that's cooking in this front pan here. So when this thermometer reaches 219 degrees, that is the golden number for the temperature of when sap officially turns into syrup. The second tool or instrument that we can use is this right here, which is called a hydrometer. And sugar makers use this to tell if the density of the syrup is correct. So basically, does it have enough sugar in it to officially be maple syrup? And the way we do it, you can see on here, there's two red lines right here. The one that we're looking at is this top red line, because this is the hot test since we're making hot syrup right now. And if this was to float right at that red line, then you know that it has the right amount of sugar that you need in it to be maple syrup. So I'm going to take a little sample here. I'll draw off. So we'll open this valve up. And this takes the syrup from the front can. And you fill up your hydrometer cup. Fill it all the way up, and then you just drop this in. And what it will do is float in this liquid. And then if it is right there on that red line, then you know you have syrup.
Hey, Kat, have you seen the new movie about maple syrup?
No.
Oh, it starts out really sappy, but it ends up really sweet at the end.
Jed, that's a good one. On that note, let's cheers. Let's cheers to the sugar maples.
And the sugar makers.
And all of you maple syrup lovers out there. Cheers!
From here, the sap to pancake story continues. Once the sugar makers have a break, they must bottle all of the syrup they have made. Then that bottled syrup can go to the market, where ultimately you can buy it for your pancakes.